Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm an interior designer and welcome to my new garden space. Now I'm going to show you what we've bought, what our plans are, and if you like this kind of thing, plus all of the interiors, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, as I'm told that's really helpful. And I'd love to hear your thoughts of all of the things that I mentioned in the comments, because I'm sure there will be lots of places that you can weigh in on and give me some advice, because of course, as I said, I'm an interior designer, so I haven't got a clue what's going on in the garden, but I'm really excited to share it with you because it's a space that we've never had before, and what you can see behind me is just the tip of the iceberg. So let's get into it. Hello guys, and welcome to my new garden. Now it's a very windy day today, so here's hoping that the mic is doing its job and we don't get blown away. But very excitingly, we now have some proper outside space. But I want you to watch this video with a real sense of vision, okay? I need your finest imaginations to be working on overdrive here. Now, by way of a bit of background, this garden was very loved. You'll have to excuse also the construction trucks that are firing past our lovely little quiet country lane at 60 miles an hour. Not that I'm at all bitter about it, because there is a tech billionaire up the road who seems to be digging up Hampshire and transporting it somewhere, but there we are. Anyway, back to our garden. So yes, this garden was incredibly loved by our predecessor's late husband, and unfortunately when he was ill, it got slightly left and forgotten about for obvious reasons. And so for, I would say, probably the best part of 3 to 5 years, the garden hasn't really seen a lot of love. The rabbits have slightly taken over and everything is just looking a little bit sad. And of course we've had now about 2 months of scorching weather, so everything is dead. But we have some hugely exciting plans here, which I can't wait to show you more about. Now, let me try and give you some semblance of a tour, but be prepared that there are random things everywhere. Nothing here is permanent, nothing here is staying. I can see a random hose over there planted in the middle of a garden, a random pot there, a bunch of random pots there. We currently have the Starlink in front of me sitting on a table, which we were left by their previous owners, which is a sort of cast iron white metal sort of bistro set, which actually is really sweet. I'm sure it had 4 chairs. And no, I'm not sitting on the 4th. I can only see 3. Absolutely sure it came with 4 chairs. It's really weird. Anyway, so we've just got the weirdest, I'm not going to say wonderful list collection of things. We have a dead ash tree, very sadly. And also the rain clouds are coming. So I think I need to speed this up before I get soaked and show you the before, and then talk you through our plans, and then one day I won't show you an after anytime soon. This is a multiple years in the making kind of garden, but at least you can share the process with me of trying to get the kind of design right in my head. Let's go. So as you can see what we're working with, we have, so this is the back of our house, and we have this sort of L-shaped piece of lawn to begin with, which we've done some very kind of crude dog fencing, and as one of you kindly already pointed out, that no, we don't want to be looking at the fencing. I'm aware it's not forever, it's to stop the dog. Oh my god, I'm being blown away. It's just I have to put my foot on the tripod. Maybe this was not the day, the pre-storm day. Although I'd love a storm, because my god, it's been so hot. But come on, Olivia, let's get through this quick fire. So I've completely lost my train of thought. Totally can't remember what I was saying. Oh yes, the fencing. So yeah, we have some pretty crappy, ugly fencing going on back there. Don't worry about it. It's just to stop the dog from running out onto the road. We will re-fence, re-hedge the whole thing. We're hoping at some point to push, there's a hedge to my right here, which we're hoping to push back and open. Can you see Winnie? No. She's having a lovely time rolling on the grass. Yeah, we'd like to buy a bit of that paddock from the farmer, and make our garden a bit bigger that way. But as you can see, random bistro set of furniture with the Starlink on it. And then even more random is this patio here. So we've got really lovely French doors into our sitting room, but the patio is tiny weeny, so we're going to need to kind of completely redo that patio, make it much bigger, put in some lovely borders around it with lots of planting, really soften it. And then of course we need lots of new, and obviously we want to try and make it the full width of the house rather than just this small width here. So then we can run the whole lot and have like a nice big dining set, a nice kind of more laid back sofa-y outdoor setup. So we'd probably have the dining set outside the conservatory because that's where our dining table is, like that's where our internal dining room is, and then probably replicate the sort of sitting room inside outside situation there. Oh, hello son. Gosh, it's confused today, isn't it? So that's what we plan to do there. Now let me just show you it from another angle, because behind the camera there is a border that has really seen better days, but I think I'm going to try and reinstate it a bit. So obviously, as you can see here, there was probably once upon a time a really lovely border here, and what I'm thinking is at one stage we would love to, as I said, push this out and buy a bit more, but assuming that isn't possible, I think what we'll do is just try and really make this border much more a thing, because it's what you can see from the house. So of course now we're August, I'm not going to necessarily do a whole heap of planting or anything until, I'm told it's autumn, I think. So I should say we have the most unbelievable setup in our family, which is that my mother-in-law is an award-winning garden designer, and my mum has just finished her training to be a garden designer. So we are kind of from all angles covered on that, in that respect, which is incredible. So I will no doubt be tapping them up for as much help as I possibly can, and to sort of make a much longer term plan for this place. But we can't also spend the next year looking at a load of dead plants. So I think in the interim I will try and sort this border out, bring it kind of much more into the garden, because right now it's really, really skinny, and I think deeper borders are much prettier. You can obviously do more in them. So make this much deeper, sort out some screening along that side of the garden. But now let me show you one of my favourite bits, which is the washing line. So of course every cool kid in their 30s wants nothing more than a washing line in their garden. Well, genuinely this was one of my requirements when we were looking at houses, was does it have somewhere that is slightly out of the way and not viewable from like the primary spaces in the house to put a washing line. Voila! I give you our washing line area. Now look, will it stay here forever? I have absolutely no idea. Not a clue. But for now, it's absolutely perfect. It's nice and breezy, as you can tell, particularly today. So we have perfect solution for drying our clothes, because in England we hate tumble dryers. I know the Americans amongst you would probably find that highly alarming, but we as a nation, I think, are like deeply against tumble dryers where we possibly can. So we will dry, despite living in such a wet country, we will dry everything outside or on racks inside, over and above using a tumble dryer where possible. I don't know, maybe we're just really sort of frugal and don't want to spend the money, or maybe it's environmental, not sure. We have a dryer, but this is my friend. I love this. And it makes your washing smell nice. Like, it's a no-brainer. So yes, this is kind of, I'd say, the back end, but eventually I'm going to make the back end somewhere else. Now, there's a bit of the garden that I can't really show you yet because it's a bit public at the minute, and we've got to do quite a lot of fencing and hedging and enclosure work before we can get it to a point where I could show you it without necessarily identifying where I live, which I'm sure you can understand is probably quite important. But what I want to say is that it is a current lawn space that is about 3 times the size of our immediate garden. It is part of, we own it, we own it as part of this plot, but it needs to be incorporated into the garden. So it's a bit of an orchard sort of space right now. It's got apple trees, plum trees. It's amazing. It's so cool. Speaking of fruit trees, we have a plum tree here, we have a pear tree here, and then at the edge of my office we have a lovely apple tree, which is actually, all the apples now have gone like bright red, which is so cool. No idea whether you could see me when I was standing there. Why have I got all the noises today? Got a plane going over, a helicopter just now. Take a day off, people. So that's this side, and this is kind of back of the house for now. And then I'm just going to show you where my office is, and where I've put my greenhouse right now, which again is not a forever solution. mostly because it's visible from the house, which I don't really want. It's made of plastic, which I don't really want, but it's great for now and it's serving a purpose. But before we blow away, let's just pop over there. Whoa. So again, one of the big selling points of this house was this studio. So this is separate to our house, and unfortunately we've just missed the wisteria being out, but the wisteria wraps all the way around from the garage to the studio and it is so pretty. Now, one thing we are not so keen on is this giant telegraph pole, which we're really hoping we might be able to move into the field, but I think that's going to come at quite a significant cost, so maybe just pretend that doesn't exist, because that's what we're having to do. So yeah, as you can see, this is highly overgrown. We have random pot, random hose, random, but you know what, it's a work in progress, we're going to get there. So this is my office, and I may or may not have filmed in here yet, I don't quite know the order of all of these videos, but that in itself is a big project. Not necessarily big, it's probably more of a financially large project because it involves lots of joinery than it is size wise. Oh, I can feel rain. Oh, I feel rain. It's raining. We're gonna have to go. I hope you enjoyed my tour, guys. I'll show you more soon. Bye. We seem to have got slightly sprinkled on and it stopped for a second, but just before I disappear and finish this video, here's where I've put my little greenhouse. But sadly this ash tree has dieback, I think it's called, and so let me see if I can just go up there a sec. Yeah, it's really not a happy tree, so that unfortunately is going to have to go. But as sad as that is, obviously that's some nice firewood, but also the root, the roots of the tree, given it was such a big tree, well it is such a big tree, have completely kind of warped the levelling of the garden. So actually it's sort of a blessing in disguise, because it's not really where we want a tree, and it means we can take it out without feeling horrendously guilty. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly show you this apple tree because it looks so lovely, and I can't really show you the rest down here, but basically beyond here is what we will eventually extend our garden into, and it has an enormous border. It has a whacking great oak tree, well, one oak tree, one, what tree does conkers? Chestnuts? Yeah, massive chestnut tree, like massive, which is starting to go brown. Can you believe it? It's like, where are we, late August, and it's going brown. I love autumn. I'm actually so excited. I'm really ready for autumn. You wouldn't know with all these flouncy dresses that I'm wearing, but I'm ready. So yes, that is the kind of immediate garden tour. I think the biggest change that we're going to look at to begin with is probably doing stuff around the house, because our house footprint may change slightly, but what we're probably going to be doing is replacing a conservatory with a more permanent structure, let's say. So yeah, we need to look at things like a new patio and putting some pretty borders around that once we get maybe into the autumn properly, because I think that's when it's probably best to do some of the groundwork, so that we can then plant stuff, so that then come the spring it can really start to get going, so that next summer we have a garden that is really usable, in conjunction with probably fencing everything off here and creating that space. And then once that's all fenced, we can take all this away and we can open it up and create a kind of much bigger garden. And maybe we have a chat with the farmer in the interim and just see whether that's an option, whether he's prepared to sell a bit off to us. He just uses it for grazing, so here's hoping. And then I probably won't bother doing anything with that border because I know it's going to move. And then what we would do is kick the garden out a bit more in that direction. So really we're squaring it off around the house rather than it being these kind of skinny slivers. And then obviously once we've got the kind of footprint and the layout right, we've got the hard surfacing in, we've got the patios, etc. Maybe we put in a patio where I was sitting earlier with a pergola, because that's what gets the sun. Then I'd like to redo the planting around my office and put in a few more trees. I love pleach trees. Anyway, there's just so much. And I think over time, once I start to get into the planning process of it, probably later this year, I'm going to start to share some inspiration pictures with you of what kind of style I like. But obviously this is a very traditional house. It's, as you saw from the video before, it's kind of white rendered. So everything will pop off of that, which I'm really excited about, and it should be a really good kind of canvas to have stuff growing in front of, because it will really jump out. I'm now getting blown away and I'm getting wet. So I'm going to say bye from me and my lovely flappy plastic greenhouse, which one day I really hope to be a really snazzy greenhouse down there with beds and raised beds. We've got lovely fruit trees down there. I think it could just be magic. I mean, if you don't know if you follow Lydia Millen, I'm sure you probably do, but her kitchen garden with her greenhouse at the end and then the beds, so stunning. And it's what I'm trying to convince my husband is the right use for a part of this extended bit of garden. Of course, he's trying to think future. He wants a climbing frame for, you know, he's like, why are we in an area one day to put like a football goal? And I'm like, no. Yeah, we'll see about that. But I'm going to run before I get completely soaked and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.